All the propagation I have done so far with you this year has all been about taking cuttings for propagation, but you get to a time of the year when the easiest form of propagation, or what you should be doing, is collecting the seed to then be doing your propagation. Hello, I'm Rosie Hardy. This is Rosie Hardy Gardening. We have come to the end of the spring, the beginning of the sort of early summer here in the UK, so talking about June, and all of your beautiful spring plants have finished flowering and they're doing what they should be doing, and that is setting seed. Now, if you want them to grow on and you want to collect the seed, then you've got to go out and start looking and checking over your plants to see if they're ready to collect the seed. Now, it's very important to check certain things because they don't all set seed at the same time. So for instance, this spring Lathyrus here, this one is Larusniger, and this has got the most beautiful seed pods on it at the moment. Look, they're beautifully green, they're all coming through. It's got younger ones as well as older ones, and if you feel down the actual pods there, and you can see there are little raised bumps all the way down, so they look like pea pods, and those are the seed inside there trying to set and to grow. Now, these are not ready yet because these pods are still green, but what you have to remember with something like a Lathyrus, and this particular one that I've got here, this is a Vetch. Now, this is a beautiful Vetch, and you can see it's doing all sorts of things on here. These are the pods which have gone black, and these are the pods which are ready and ripe to collect. These pods have already broken and distributed their seed. Now, isn't this fascinating how they become this corkscrew? So basically what happens is they peel open from the top here and they start to screw, and as they peel open and they screw, so the seeds get dispersed. Now, plants have amazing ways, and all the different types of plants have different ways of dispersing their seed around the place so that they have much more chance of their seeds falling onto good ground so that they can grow up from there. So you have to remember, so something like this it's already set off 3. It's got one there which is ready to go, that's not far off, and then this one here is black there but green at the bottom, so therefore this one is not quite ripe yet. And also what it's doing further down the stem is it's starting to rebloom so that it can have seed set a lot later. So this is how plants go. So you're not going to go to your plant at one time, or not all plants at one time, and pick loads of seed. You're going to go there and you're going to get maybe 1 or 2 pods, and that will be that. So they all set at different times. So remember, it's a bit of vigilance, it's a bit of going out there, it's a bit of looking. Occasionally you miss things, but there will still be more to get. So remember, when you're going for things like the peas, so this has got to wait until its pods have got to be in that colour. Then you can pick those pods. You can put them into a paper bag like this. Now, this paper bag has been used numerous times. As you can see here, we have got all sorts of writing down here. In fact, it doesn't even say the year on there, so this has been used for all sorts. The seed has been completely emptied out of the bottom of the bag, so there's no more seed in the bottom of the bag there, and then this is usable again for something else. So basically what you can do with a pod like this is that you would take those pods off, or if it's easier for you, you go to the plant and you put the paper bag over the top. Your plant will be like this. Your paper bag can go over the top like so. You can then cut off the stems. That then sits in there. You put it somewhere dry, and it doesn't have to be in sunlight, dry and in the dark, sort of somewhere where it'll be warm, and then those seeds will pop out and go into the bottom of there. You have written on the bag before you put the seed in there, because it's so much easier to write on the bag that you're putting in a Lathyrus, and then you can put that in there, and that will be how it works. So remember, paper bags. Now, we've got some slightly bigger paper bags, and actually these are a lot easier for putting over things. But as I say, you know, write the name, write the date, and then you go and collect. I'm not talking about using plastic bags, because plastic bags, you don't know how much moisture there is still in the seed pods that you're collecting. You'll always collect perhaps a little bit of leaf or a little bit of tendril, so that will give moisture out, and if you put that into a plastic bag and seal it, you will get a lot of moisture in there, and therefore you will damage the seed that you have collected. So it's very important. That's why we use paper bags, we use envelopes. You can get everything and put them into big tubs and then take it in and then put it into paper bags, but you'll find it much easier because you won't be touching the seed. So this is quite important. You won't be touching the seed with your hands, and it means that it's a much easier way of doing it. So what material is there out there that is setting seed at the moment? Well, a lot of it is the spring stuff. Now I'm just going to put these paper bags down here like this, just to show you the amount of seed that there is in some of these things that you can be out there collecting. I've got a Silene here. This is Silene flos-cuculi. This one happens to be white robin, so it's got the white flowered seed heads. So you can either, you would normally take the bag, put it over the top, and then you would shake it and you see. But what I'm doing for this purpose is I'm actually just going to show you how much seed there is inside these seed heads. And that one has already, no, it hasn't emptied. So there is seed here, not as much as I would have thought. So that one has already emptied out its seed. Let's try another one, because sometimes they'll have already pinged the seed all over the place. But with this, the seed, here we go, that's more seed in there. With this, you can see it looks a little bit like poppy seed, and you've got these lovely little black seeds here, little tiny, let's do that, and then you can see them all in the crease. There we go, all these lovely little tiny black seeds. And there's occasionally a bit of chaff in there as well. So something like a sieve is a good idea. We have a little plastic sieve which has got smallish holes, allows this size seed to go through, but all of the chaff it doesn't allow to go through. Now it doesn't matter, you don't have to clean your seed, but it does help if you do. So the other thing, and the reason why this was not actually letting the seed go, is that there are pods on here which have got open tubes on them, and there are pods which are green. And the difference is that this is all this is all setting its seed and ripening at a different period. So we have got ones which are brown, which have got open tubes at the top. We've got ones which have not gone brown, but they've got a green tip, which means they haven't opened up fully yet. This one is Silene flos-cuculi, and we would be putting those into there. I would then, you don't need the stems, I've just done it to tidy up the plant. I would then take that and I would then peg it on a line above my boiler, where it gets, it's in the sort of light, but it's not in full bright sunlight. It's getting the warmth, it's going to dry off, and then you'll be able to hear that beautiful sound as seed starts to come into the bottom of there. You don't need a lot of this because this will germinate really, really quickly. So that's flos-cuculi, and that is how you would be collecting the seed on that one. So that is one of the things that is around and is doing seed. Now there are lots of other plants where the seeds are ready and they are ready to be collected, and you can put them straight into paper bags. But there are other ones which need different treatment when you are collecting them. But let's just start with one that, again, like the flos-cuculi there, or like the Lathyrus, you would be able to collect and put into paper bags, are these, the beautiful the beautiful Semiaquilegia. Now the Semiaquilegia is very similar to Aquilegia, and you get these lovely seed pods which go up and open, and as they open they ping a few seeds out, then a few seeds get stuck in there, and as the wind shakes all of this, then you get more of that seed coming through. So these are really pretty. There's a lot of seed in these seed pods here, so they've got a good amount of seed. Some of them are, whoops, and as you can see, let's just show you this because that's just thrown its seed all over the place. Look at the amount of seed there is in there. Now look at the difference in the shape of the seed of this and the size of the seed here. So these are lovely black oval seeds. The seeds we had out of the Silene were tiny little small specks, round, as I say, a bit like poppy seed that you get on your bread. So the seeds are different. So there's a lot inside these capsules. So some of these capsules are brown, some of them are still pink. The ones that are brown are getting rid of the seed. The ones that are pink are still sealed up, and there is a definite difference between those. This one is not open. It's still got, see, these ones here are open and brown. So you will get a lot of seed from this. You can collect the seed and you can, or you can literally put it over the top exactly the same as you would with that. So that is your Semiaquilegia that you would be collecting your seed now. You've got other things where it is very obvious whether they are ripe or whether they are not ripe. This is Primula veris, and this is the normal cowslip. Now, Primula veris is something that takes quite a long time. You'll get these seed pods there for a long time. And if you look inside these ones which are green, where the flower is still on the top of there is a seed capsule. I might just take that down. You can see. There is the seed capsule within the plant head here itself. So that is the seed capsule. It is green. The outer calyxes, the dead flower piece, is still green. If you go to this plant here, you will see it's got a mixture of ones which are going from green, they look as though they're mouldy, but they're going brown. And it's these ones which are going brown which you then, if you open up and look at the, if you look at, let's choose one that's opening, here we go. So when you take the pod down, or you take the dead old seed flower casing down, you can see the difference. And I'm going to have to take these off and put them on my hands because it's going to be really difficult for you to be able to see otherwise. So we have got 3 different stages, and I'll put them on a piece of paper. 3 different stages here of these seed coming through. You have got beautifully green, full of seed, not ready yet because it's still got the dead flower head. You've got nearly ready to actually get rid of its seed, but it's still not open at the top. That one is not open at the top here, and this one that I've just put down there is open at the top, and 2 seeds have just fallen out of it. So if I turn it around like that, and we will do a close-up of this, you can see that this one has opened up and that one hasn't, and that one hasn't. So this is when you're doing, so when you're looking at the plant, how do you know? Well, you look straight down, you look in to see what is there, and if they are brown, they're ready. Now, this is seed that wants to be sown straight away, instantly. So you want to have pots like so. You want to make sure that it is moist. I haven't wet this, so make sure that it is moist compost that you're doing it to. And then you go to a plant. Now, you're not going to get everything with seed ready. You go to the plant and you cut off the seed head and you tip it up like that, and then you tap it and you tap it to get the seed coming through. And I can see that seeds are actually coming out from there and they're going on. So you can do that. So that is the way to do it. So you are not touching the sit plant, you're basically just making it go down. Now if you don't want to waste all of the seed that it, all of the heads there, and you want it to set some more, then cut off the individual ones, and then there you go. The seed can then be just put straight on. You will get far better germination with your primulas if you do it directly straight onto there. That's far the easiest way of doing it. And I'm not talking about you bringing the plant or going to your plants that are out in the ground, cutting off the flower heads with seed on them and then bringing them inside. No, I'm talking about you going with the flower pot to the plant and doing it directly like so onto damp compost, and then you will have much better germination. Remember to label your pot so you know what you've got in it. Then put it somewhere where it is slightly shady, because this seed drops down into grass, therefore it is shady. Put it in the back of the cold frame. Remember to water it, cover it over with a little bit of light grit, and then wait, and probably next spring, because it'll take it a full time, it will then germinate and be there ready for you to prick out. So that is your primula seed, and that's what you're going to be doing with that. Let's just get a close-up of those. Fully green, still got the dead flower on it. Brown, not open yet. Brown, open, and the seed sitting on the side there. That is your primula. Then you've got the umbiliferies, and the umbiliferies are doing exactly the same as the primula. They're showing you when their seed is ready. So you have got the slightly less well formed and not quite ripe seed here, and then when they go black on the covers, that is when they are ready. Now umbiliferies are known to be really tough, difficult things to actually germinate, and so again they're one of these things whereby if you can go to the plant, you can cut it off. Now you don't have to be worried about not worrying about, you can put this in a bag, and then the easiest way to do these is lay them on the top of the compost like so, and that way they will then just split out and go onto the compost. Again, it wants to be moist compost, and with this it doesn't, you don't need as much stick on there, and then you just leave it there. You can press it down so that it's just start like that. If you are watering and you water quite fiercely, sometimes he can go over the top, so be careful of that. You could put something like a stone on here, or previously I've shown you using pegs of wire, and this is where the pegs of wire would be quite useful, and you can just literally peg it in like that. So this is just a little bit of normal pruning wire. I've turned it over and made it into a hoop like so, and I just press it down like that, and that is just holding it there, just to hold the seed in place. Now that one is Myrrhis odoratus, so that one is quite obvious. The rest of the seed is not ripe. This seed that I've put on here is a black, so take it out of the compost. There you go. See, it's much darker than that one. So that one was ready to go. Another one which you can do is your Anthriscus. So things like Anthriscus Ravenswing, for instance. These are the beautiful bronze-leaved cow parsleys. The seed is now ready on the ends of these. It's going a lovely dark colour, and again it's a matter of taking off and just gently putting down on to your compost like so. With these it's probably better on a bigger seed tray, but that is definitely the way to go. And you could also, if you're worried that it's going to disappear off, you could just peg that onto your seed tray or seed pot like so. And remember to use a good quality seed compost, because that is so much better. And then if you need to cover any seed, you can use a grit or something like that, or cork granules work really nicely. Some seed, the bigger seeds, don't need covering, probably not until they've started to germinate, and then a little bit of covering helps. Keep the pots damp, but don't overwater them, and that is where you are. So there's lots and lots to go out, have a really good look, collect some seed and do that sort of thing. So that is the type of propagating that you can do. Some of the seed you'll be collecting, as I say, and drying, and then you'll be sowing it a lot later. You won't be sowing it straight away. But some things are much better sown straight away. So the umbiliferies and the primulas straight away. Other things with slightly bigger seed, you can save it and you can sow it when the conditions are correct for you. So that is the fun of the propagating at this time. It's a matter of going out and almost foraging for your own seeds in your own garden. A lot of what we're doing in the propagation at the moment is actually getting all of the cuttings and seed raised plant material ready for potting. There is still quite a lot to do. So for instance, the plants that are sitting in the tunnel waiting to come out here to harden off are lush like this, and they have got a lot of root on them, they've got a lot of top growth on them, and they're not quite ready for putting into the pots because they need to be trimmed up. Now you can see the difference between this one here, which is ready, and this one here that is not ready. So this has got a lot of root hanging out the bottom. That's great, but for potting it's just a little bit easier if it's trimmed off at the bottom. So all of these plants are taken out of here, they are trimmed back down. Now these have already had one lot of pinching back. They've already been pinched back right the way down into there, and then this growth has come on. Now what will happen is that they will be reduced down again, and they will be reduced down to that, so that when they are potted, you're going to get 2 stems off all of those. So if you've got 4 stems here, it's reduced down to a pair of leaves, you get another 2 shoots. That is 8 stems coming up. That gives you a much bushier plant, a much better plant, fills the pot quickly, and it just has a little bit of a root prune. So these are just cut up and tidied off. So that is what we do with all of this. Now sometimes as well, depending on what the material is, she will also take some of this top stuff as cuttings, but some of it is too hard, some of it is okay. That's just dependent on the numbers that we actually require. So for instance, with this particular Lythrum here, so this one is Lythrum virgatum Drop More Purple. Drop More Purple, there's a 77 tray here. That one has been reduced down, and then there are labels in there as well. So this is all ready to go to the, in fact they'll probably go off for potting today. They are ready to be done. The labels are printed up there, those are the potting labels. That will then all go and be laid outside. They all go into our one potting mix. We use one potting mix for everything on the nursery, and that is our peat-free Silver Grove by Melcourt. It has our slow release fertiliser in it with extra added nutrients, and we put in a slow release fertiliser which lasts for 10 to 12 months. That means that the plants are going to get food for that length of time, because if we're potting in June, they may be ready for autumn sales, but they also then will be ready for mail order sales in the spring, still healthy, still with enough fertiliser in there to keep them going right the way through till the following June. So that is what we do from the point of view of when we are potting up. But all of these plants here have all been tidied up, they're all ready to go. And as I say, they've all got their labels in here as well. So the potting team can come in, take all of this, pot them all up, put them all laid out on the nursery. Then in about 5-6 weeks time, they're ready, they're rooted down, they'll either go mail order or they'll go out to sale for people either from the nursery or out at plant fairs, etc. So that's just another insight into what is happening in the propagation. So this is the end bit of the propagation. This is them preparing all the plugs ready for the potting team to take them on, and they go out into the big bad world of the outside nursery. Thank you very much for watching, and please do subscribe to the channel. If you want to watch another video of mine, YouTube thinks this one is perfect for you.